Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman, Wargamer. It's an open the box and it's an unboxing of a game that is very intriguing to me because it combines two of my favourite things to play, World War II and horror dungeon crawling. And the game in question is Escape from Stalingrad Z, a game designed by Marco Pecota and published by Raybox Games. And I must thank Marco for kindly sending me this review copy for you to have a look at. Marco explained to me that this game is strongly narrative, and to help that along, he also sent me this, which is like a diary of one of the soldiers, and it's a chronicle of what was happening in Stalingrad in the winter of 1942, and we'll have a little look at that later. But for now, what's this game all about? Stalingrad, winter 1942. Amid the bloodiest battle of the 20th century, the hungry dead have arisen. In a matter of days, two of the strongest armies the world has ever known are shattered, torn apart by an impartial, implacable foe. The corpse city on the Volga is cut off, occupied only by the undead and a few rapidly dwindling number of living people, no longer concerned about nationality or ideology, but only survival and escape. The MG42 rips a short burst from its window nest, scything down ghouls in the streets in front of you. A Nagant cracks sharply, and the bloated obscenity that used to be your medic bursts apart in a cloud of green mucus. That's the signal to go. Shoving brick rubble aside, you and the big Siberian charge. PPHs and the Schmeiser firing as one. Ghouls tumble, howling and reaching for you, all splintered fingers and yellow teeth. The headshot ones stay down, but you must finish the others with axe and shovel, e-tool and boot. Finally, it is over. The crossroads is clear, but the sun is sinking behind the shell-pocked facade of the Dzerzhinsky tractor works. What will you do next? Head towards the Volga and try to escape that way? Perhaps the airfields or the rail lines are still open. Maybe heading west is the best bet. You must choose a path. Well, as you can see, lots of blood and gore. It's right up my street, this sort of game. So it's for 1 to 3 players. It plays in about 20 to 40 minutes and ages 14 plus. But as you can see, a little bit of gore in here, so bear that in mind. Game contents. We have a rule book, a 100-page scenario book with over 45 plus scenarios and maps, folder, player aid, 6 door standees, 100 plus weapon, gear, character, zombie, terrain and action markers, 27 character and zombie standees, 33 plastic standees, I assume they're the stands, 4 action dice, 3 12-sided dice, 1 black and 2 white, 23 resin hex markers and 8 double-layer character sheets. Right, let's get the shrink wrap off. The shrink wrap is off, and it's quite a weighty 2-inch box. So let's have a look inside. Let's open the box. So the first thing we want to look at, as always, are the rules. So let's get those out. Well, inside the box we've got this shrink-wrapped folder, which they mention on the back of the box. I assume the rules and that are in there. So let's have a look at that. So this folder, on the back it has what's on the back of the box. And if we open it up, we've got some stuff in here. There is still some more stuff in the box, which we'll have a look at. But we've got some plastic bags. This, I think, is the scenario book, which we'll have a look at in a moment. But first, let's have a look through the rules. So here's the rule book. It's quite a bumper rule book. There's 52 pages of rules, a few pages at the end for some other bits and pieces. It's the first time I've looked through this, so we'll be doing this together. So table of contents and an introduction into the story. What we get in the box, which is what I received. We'll need to play. They do miniatures for this game, but as you can see, we've got standees and we've got these little tokens, which will be quite handy to video with. What you have to do before you begin, and characters you can have. The dashboards, which we'll have a look at in a moment, and how that all works. And some core concepts. Adjacency, facing, figures, different types of markers. So it's quite an involved game by the looks of it. Special actions, how to move. A lot of pages, but there's lots of gaps, quite nice font size, lots of pictures. So attacking, how to resolve that. Your arc of fire, line of fire or line of sight, as we tend to call it. Range of the weapons. Weapon characteristics. Any modifiers that occur. Rolling the attack dice. Different types of attacks. So quite a lot, as I said earlier. Quite a lot in this rule book. Grenade blasts. Covering. I think that's Overwatch type thing. Priorities of attack and the zombies. Great artwork in this rule book. How the zombies move, how they attack and the types. You've got the beta armored, the kugelfish and the alphas. Like the leaders by the looks of it. Alpha primes. Oh, and Amigas. And then the campaign. So this explains how the scenarios work. How to collect other characters for your team. Rescuing civilians. Team control sheet. Not sure if you need to photocopy that. The armory, all the stuff at your disposal. And then multiplayer mode. So, you know, I'd say about 40 odd pages of rules, which sounds a lot, but as you can see, it's all pretty well spaced out. So co-op mode is one of the multiplayer modes you can do. You can do versus play, where somebody is controlling the zombies. And these entries, these look like maybe in the scenarios you're told to look up one of these to see what happens. Quite a few of those. And these, I think, are overspill, if you like, from the scenario book, because some of the maps are 2 pages. We'll see that in a moment. So it directs you to look here for the setup and all that sort of thing. So a few of those at the back. And here are copies of the player boards. I suppose you could photocopy those and use those if you didn't get them with your set. There we are. Some credits at the back. And another great piece of art. Them's the rules. Next, there's a 48-page scenario book, which looks quite thick, but I think they're using sort of thicker paper because, as you'll see, once you get past the introduction, the actual game is played with this book. The maps are all included, which is why it's ring bound, so it lies nice and flat. So we've got all the info about each battle or scenario, where to set up. They're quite nice looking maps, and some of them, oops, there we go, and some of them are double maps. Let's see if we can find one of those. There we go. And it says here, this one's called Not One Step Back, and the rules for that, as I showed you earlier, are in the rule book, or the setup for that. So I think they said 45 plus scenarios. Well, hey, bait and switch, and so on and so on. Another 2 mapper here with this is Juggernaut with those setups at the back of the rule book. So there we are. That'll keep you busy. Next in that folder, we've got a couple of Plazzy bags and a couple of sheets of counters. So let's have a look at those. So here's the first sheet. We've got zombies by the looks of it. I think these are door standees. Some markers here, wound markers, order markers, and timer markers. On the other side, you can see the other side of those markers, and those zombies have question marks because they're hidden when they're first placed on the board, I believe, until you spot them. Here's that second sheet that was in the folder. We've got some items here. Not sure what these are for. These look like sort of obstacles, boxes, and that you may place on the map. And again, not sure what these are for. Maybe these are civilians we rescue. On the other side, most of them have these question marks, so it looks like they're going to be hidden until you spot them. Here's the empty folder, but inside you've got some handy reference sheets showing what the numbers mean on the weapon counters, line of fire modifiers, movement table, and so on. Over here, it's probably the complete armory, arc of fire. So quite a handy little thing to have up in the corner of your play area, giving you lots of useful information. Back in the box, we've got a couple of more counter sheets. Here's the first one showing what looks like your armory items. Some more down here. And not sure what these are, but these are, what do you reckon, beetroot? Make some borscht. And here's the other side. Yes, there's the weapons. And ×2 value for those other ones. Here's the last sheet, some more weapons here and the standees for the zombies, and it looks like the characters as well. And the other side, just to mention, all the counters are on nice thick cardstock. 3 D12s. These are the 4 action dice, I believe, depending on what you've decided to do with your character. I think these are placed next to them to remind you what they've done, that they've had their action. And a little bag of those resin hex markers they mentioned on the back of the box. And of course some stands for your standees. And just to finish off, 8 of these double layer character sheets. So let's have a look at those. Here's the first one, Becker, who's a Panzer Commandant, and they're double layered so you can plop counters, in this case gear, into those recesses. your beetroot and your ammo there, and any medical supplies, I think that is. And this is where you can keep a count of your health and fatigue using those little hexagon markers. Skills. And on the other side, a little bit of a backstory for Becca. So what I'll do, I'll show the others quickly, and you can pause the video to peruse them at your leisure. Here's the next one. I'll just say you'll end up with Germans and Soviets fighting together against these zombies. So Dasher's a Soviet sniper. Here's Till, although they don't look too healthy themselves. Then would you, if you're in that situation? There's Lydia. She's a medic. Very handy. It's obligatory to have a German soldier called Steiner, and here he is. Reiser. And here's the last one, Soviet partisan Katyusha. And there we go, that's everything in the box. As I said, that's actually everything in the box, but Marco sent me this little booklet, which you can get as an extra, which is a diary of what happened to those soldiers in Stalingrad in the winter of 42. And it does mention all the characters that are in the box and gives another layer of sort of narrative from just fighting the Russians until suddenly they realize that the dead are coming back to life, and to survive they have to work together. Again, the illustrations in this are really quite good. So there we are, that's something else to help with the narrative, and that might be something that you would be interested in getting as well. So there we are. So this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of a crossover game I'm quite looking forward to getting onto the table, and it is Escape from Stalingrad Z, a Raybox game production and designed by Marco Pecota, who once again I have to thank for kindly sending me this review copy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, found it interesting. If you did, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Really does help. Another thing that's of great help to the channel is if you push the like button, the thumbs up underneath this video. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. Leave a comment. Always look forward to receiving them and reading them. What do you think? This might scratch my itch for World War II and horror dungeon crawlers. But what do you think? Have you played this? Let me know. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you so much. And just before I go, if you wish to support the channel a little bit further, you can buy the channel a coffee, and I'll leave a link for that in the description. Or you can push the super thanks button underneath the video. Let me tell you, those donations really help the channel to keep ticking along, so thank you. Right then, zombies in Stalingrad, whatever next? Well, you'll have to wait and see for the next video, which I hope you can join me for. But until then, as always, you take care and goodbye.